Evening, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Red Sox Digest. I am your host tonight, Jim Delfino. Boy, oh boy, trying to stay optimistic after that one. You know you're in trouble when even the green monster is face palming. The Red Sox have been walking around like a guy who ordered surf and turf and got served just the turf, muddy, soupy turf. Joining me tonight is Nick Face, the only man in New England who treats a Yankees win like it's Pearl Harbor all over again. The second Aaron Judge's ball left the bat, Nick's blood pressure shot up so fast, Fenway's medical staff almost put him on the injury list.
We're wearing a helmet.
By the third inning, he was pacing like a caged lion, shouting things about Joe DiMaggio, Yankee payrolls, and how hot dogs in the Bronx taste like debt and regret. By the seventh, he wasn't even watching the game anymore. He was standing on his porch in full Red Sox gear, yelling at clouds shaped like pinstripes. If the Yankees win the final game this weekend, somebody better check his phone bill because the man's going to personally declare war on Yankees Twitter. Also joining us is Nick Diamond, sitting down in Florida where the humidity is 90% and the Yankee fans are somehow louder than the cicadas. Diamond spent the Judge at bats with 3 laptops open, cross-referencing StatCast data like he's decoding the Dead Sea Scrolls. When Judge passed DiMaggio on the all-time list, Yankee fans treated it like the moon landing, and Diamond simply drove to Publix just to lecture strangers in the deli line about park factors. He's convinced the Yankees' entire existence is a Wall Street scam and that Luis Gil's ERA is just another form of insider trading. If the Sox lose tomorrow, Diamond's going to charter a boat, sail straight into Yankee Stadium, and start handing out PowerPoint presentations about regression. Let's get into it. Your Boston Red Sox are now 81-68 on the season as they sent Brian Bayo to the mound in Game 2 this afternoon, and it wasn't pretty. Bayo spotted New York 2 runs in the first like he's Oprah. You get a run, you get a run. Jazz Chisholm Jr. turned into Ken Griffey Jr. every time he sees a Boston jersey, 3 hits, a home run, and casually wrecking Bayo's ERA for fun. Max Fried, guy was throwing like he was double parked outside Fenway, gives up 9 hits, but still walks away with win number 17. The Yankees are like Jehovah's Witnesses at your door, persistent and annoying, but somehow always scoring runs. And the Sox, oh, we tried. Bregman hits 1, Duran pinch hits 1, everyone gets excited, but in the clutch, 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. That's not baseball, that's a math problem. How many stranded runners does it take to ruin your night? The answer is 8. After a rousing rendition of Sweet Caroline, off came the 9th, where Aroldis Chapman throws 2 wild pitches like he's auditioning for a Fast and Furious spinoff. After Judge nearly takes his face off on a liner up the middle, Bellinger sees 43 pitches before he drives him in with a double and the game was over. Bednar comes in, retires the side like he's folding laundry. Boston is now losers of 3 straight, 5.5 games back of Toronto and fading fast and sitting 2.5 games behind the Yankees for first seed in the wild card. Perfect. Just what we wanted for the mid-September scoreboard watching like we're waiting for a pizza delivery. That's your recap. Sox can't hit, can't pitch, can't close. Yankees dance on our lawn. And now it's time for Nick Face's Word of the Day.
And now it's time for Nick Face's Word of the Day!
First of all, I know your little opening that you did there. Never knock a Publix. That place is great.
They're the best.
Puts Market Basket to shame, because that's where we all New Englanders shop and get the best deals. No, today's word of the day is not helmet head. Today's word of the day is Yankees. And the reason it is the Yankees is because the Yankees are your daddy this weekend. They are. They are a much superior lineup. They are a superior team right now to this pile of horse manure. If that, I'm just being kind on what I want to say for that. Bayo stunk. That was not a good start. Probably is one of his worst starts of the season. Didn't have it. You saw it from the get-go. And then our lifeless lineup. What do you expect? I mean, Jim, you and I were going back and forth. We saw the lineup come out. We both said to ourselves, what the hell is this? This is the best you can do. They're punting. The sorry excuse is we have no Roman Anthony. We have no Willier Abreu. This is the best that they can do. And no, to me, it's not the best they can do. Christian Campbell should be here. Where is he? Why isn't he here? I'm all set. He needs to be here. What else did you see today? You saw the return of Romy Gonzalez. That was a positive. I don't like him leading off, but again, you really don't have a leadoff hitter. So, I mean, it is what it is right now. Overall, Yankees took advantage of you. They won, as expected. Now you have Sunday Night Baseball tomorrow night. Crochet goes. I said that the Red Sox would win for Sunday night. I don't know what I'm feeling right now. Jim, you said you think it's going to be a sweep. I'm leaning towards that. This is going down like the Titanic right now. And the more we understand that, the more we realize it, I think the better off our stress level and anxiety is going to be as the rest of this season plays out. I don't see the playoffs here. I've said it a couple times now. I don't see it. And for you people that are on TikTok, you want to comment and say my takes are as cold as you know what. I just call it as it is. I want to see them win. But if they're going to win, in spite of what the team's doing right now and get worse for the next previous years or next seasons, I don't want to see that. I want to see this organization change. And the only way they're going to change is, if they lose. And it's going to be painful. Getting rid of Kennedy, getting rid of Pete Fatsi, changing up our organizational philosophy on mentally preparing ourselves to play baseball, to understand the awareness of the game. Those are things that I would change organizationally for this team right now. Because what we see right now, and it's not acceptable. So that's where I'm at right now. I think the Yankees, gun to my head, the Yankees would sweep the Red Sox. I want to be a little bit more optimistic and say Crochet will give you something. But even if he gives you a good start here, guys, who the hell is going to hit the baseball? He could throw a gem, and he's done that before this season against the Yankees. He could be great. And the Red Sox could be 1-0 Yankees heading into the ninth inning. Bottom of the ninth comes up, and you go over, and you go home. Losers 1-0. That's what could happen here tomorrow. And that's just not okay.
No, not at all. Nick Face's Word of the Day is brought to you by Mariano Rivera Retirement Tours, because nothing says Yankees nostalgia like reminding everyone that they've been living off highlights for 20 years.
My helmet hurts. I got to take it
Book
off.
now and receive a complimentary Derek Jeter gift basket pre-stuffed with arrogance and expired Subway coupons. Nick Diamond, your reactions to tonight's loss, and is it time to hit the panic button?
It's 100% time to hit the panic button. Tonight was pathetic. Brian Bayo, expected more out of him. He came out here and he kind of just choked right out of the gate. I guess you can even applaud him and say he limited the damage with 2 runs in the first inning. It could have been way worse. He really didn't look good all night. He went 5 innings, gave up 4 runs, he gave up that home run to the Jazz. If you just could have limited that run, we could have. I think the game would have been different if he didn't give up that home run to the Jazz. I think the Red Sox could have tied it. I think that would have been a big deal instead of just getting it back to a 1-run game. If you want to talk about Chapman, maybe we talk about this down the line, but is it time to worry about him? He's kind of starting to tire a little bit. Back-to-back outings where he's giving up a run. He went 50 straight batters without giving up a hit, and now he's back-to-back outings with giving a run. So I don't know if that's something to worry about. I doubt it. I don't want to worry about him. He's probably the least of our worries right now with the offensive struggles and everything going on. But, yeah, he might be a topic to talk about later down the line, at least tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I wanted to actually touch base about Chapman a little bit later on. A little bit of news from the Fenway Fens. Willier Abreu is looking for a possible return. Could be back for the Athletic series. My question to you, Nick Diamond, is it going to be too late at that point, or is he going to be an offensive force for us, even though he's had almost a month layoff?
It very well could be too late. He's not going to have a rehab assignment. They're going to rush him back as quick as possible because they absolutely have to. We saw tonight how Rob Resnider played right field. He didn't look good out there. Anyone who we've had since Roman Anthony and Willie Abreu have gone down haven't looked good in right field at all. So we're really missing the defense and the offense that Willie Abreu provides. So they'll rush him back. I just hope he's getting it hot as soon as he gets back so he provides some sort of offense. But right now, I really don't think he will, considering he's missed about almost a month now.
Nick Face, we need the Willie Abreu from opening day. What are we going to get when he comes back?
You're not going to get that. I'm going to put that in writing right now. You're not. Willie Abreu is going to come back and strike out the house. And what that saying means is his timing's going to be all off. He's missed over a month of the season here. And if you're expecting him to just boom out of here, not going to happen. Not going to happen. So, yeah, it's too late. It's too late. Willie Abreu is not your savior. I've seen some people on X, Twitter, oh, he's coming back. Can't wait to get that bat in. We're really banged up. It's going to really help the team. I'm just going to block these people out of my life and just block them out of anything that I see anymore because I'm tired of them getting a charge out of me because it's so stupid on the thought process that enters this brain here, and then the light bulb goes off and they think it's a great idea. The problem is, it's not going to happen. So, it's just not. I don't even think if we hit the playoffs, Roman Anthony would even be back. Let's be honest. I'm going to be honest on that too. I don't see it happening. And then if he even comes back, say you're a couple games into the first round or the early beginnings of the second round, you think he's just going to pick up where you left off? You people are on another planet. You really are. It's really bad. Come back to planet Earth with the rest of us, people who have a little sense of reality.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you as well on that. We're definitely in getting cooked territory at this point. I want to talk a little bit about Alex Cora's lineup here, and that's going to lead me a little bit into Jarren Duran, who had a pinch hit home run today. Obviously, it just wasn't enough. With the amount of games that we have left, and I know Cora loves his lefty righties. Obviously, Narvaez was in there today, 0 for 3. Ref Schneider, 0 for 3. Story was 0 for 4, but I'm talking about the guys that normally aren't. Sogard was 2 for 4. Is it time to start letting guys like Jarren Duran just see some left-handed pitching for the remainder of this season? We're limping into the end of the year right now, and I think we got to try to have maybe the best offensive lineup we can put out there, not just the matchup lineups, if that makes any sense. Nick Face, I'll start with you.
You got lucky today on the Duran home run. If you think that's going to happen consistently with it, it's not. I'll take it. But who's to say tomorrow if he was to pinch hit, it would be a big strikeout. You'd chase it up and away. Good night. That's what it would be. I can't have confidence in Jarren Duran. I can't. From everything I see. Congrats. He hit the home run. I'm happy for him. I actually am. But to see that happen again, to see anything consistent transpire for him, to make adjustments when he's at the plate and fix the issues he's had all season mechanically, he'll revert right back. So the whole thing to me is just, it's a joke. There's no consistency in the lineup. If this was me as a player, Nick, I don't know how you were when you played baseball, but it bothered the Evan Levin crap out of me if my coach, sometimes it would be my dad and I'd yell at him, but I would say, what the hell is this? I'm the 5 hitter. What are you putting me at 7 for? Oh, well, we're going to mix and match and do this. And I looked at him and I go, bullshit. Like, put me in my spot where I'm comfortable. I'm sure these guys can't stand it. Honestly.
Baseball players are creatures of habit. I've said this on Twitter. I've said it on Spaces and so forth. Put guys in a position to, in their best position to win. And I don't care if it's offensively or defensively, but they need to know where they're going to bat in the lineup. This can't be just, a jack of all trades Swiss Army lineup every single night. Nick Diamond, your thoughts?
I think Jarren Duran feels most comfortable batting leadoff in this lineup. And with the options we have right now with no Roman Anthony and no Willie Abreu, he 100% needs to be in the lineup against the lefty. I know his struggles against the lefty, but with the options we have, what are we going to platoon him with Nate Eaton? I don't think that's a better option. I really don't. Nate Eaton will cost us the game if we really want to talk about it. His base running blunder, running to third base, would have cost us the game, honestly. I think we could have scored there. That could have been a big inning, and this game would have been totally different if Nate Eaton doesn't do that. So I think Jarren Duran should have been in the lineup to start, no matter what his struggles are against left-handed pitching. Max Fried's carving up lefties and righties. Who cares? Put him in the game when you don't have Roman Anthony, you don't have Willie Abreu. I don't want to have minor leaguers. At least Jarren Duran is a Major League Baseball player.
Yeah, and that's kind of like where I was going with this segment, because the bottom line here is that when you don't have Abreu and you don't have Roman Anthony in this lineup and you have a struggling Bregman and so forth, I think you need as much offensive thump as you can get. I don't care if Duran bunts 4 at-bats. At least he can maybe beat something out with his speed, keep the ball out of the air, stop a double play, whatever it may be that could help you win a ball game. And I think putting him on the bench is just a stupid idea. But this is, again, what Alex Cora always goes for. With that being said, Nate Eaton, and I'm glad you brought that up, Nick. People are going to look at the box score and say, oh, he went 2 for 2. He's batting almost 300. The guy doesn't know how to play baseball. That's the bottom line. He's not a good outfielder. He's not a good defender. He played third base earlier this season, nearly cost us a game there. And today, I think you're right. I think you had Fried on the ropes a little bit. There was a little bit of traffic, and he got out of the inning because of stupid blunders. And whether it was all on Nate Eaton or you have a third base coach that doesn't know what he's doing, and I tweeted that out too. They need a new third base coach for next year because it's just getting more pathetic as the year goes on. But you need to have as much offensive thump as you can on a nightly basis. Leading me into more of the offense, Alex Bregman with his pesky pole homer. Bregman is really struggling. He is down to 278 now with an on-base percentage of 361. This is a guy that's going to opt out at the end of the year and command $40 million per year. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to bash Bregman. He's been the bright spot of this season, but he's clearly either still hurt or he's clearly just run down, and a lot of expectation on him now because they're really hurting for offense. Nick Diamond, I'll start with you.
I was looking at his numbers tonight just across the board. He had 17 home runs, like 270 something, like an 830 OPS, and he thinks he's going to get over $40 million, and he's 1 year older. I don't think he should opt out, in my opinion. I think he will. I still think he will. But if he expects to get over $40 million AAV, I think he's kind of delusional at this point. And if I was the Red Sox, I wouldn't cave in again. I'm surprised they did it the first time. I wouldn't do it again. I want him back. I would be pretty upset if they let him go again. I wouldn't put it as far as the Adrian Beltre situation, but I would say it's kind of close. I think he fits the team really well, and I think I'd want him back. But he needs to perform if he wants that money. I'm not giving him $40 million if he doesn't perform down the stretch and the Red Sox choke. I'm really not. So I'd like to have him back. I think he's going to get hot if he gets into the playoffs, but right now he needs to get hot before the playoffs. So that's my thoughts on Bregman. Good for him on the home run. Hopefully it gets him going. It's not like it was an impressive hit, like it was it was probably a foul ball in most ballparks.
It was a dink and dunk.
Yeah, it was kind of more of a joke on my part. The idea is I don't think that's anything that's really going to stir the pot for him. It's just nothing more than a pinball game. But the reality is, if it was something actually more monumental, going 2 for 4 and driving the ball with a couple doubles, I'd feel like he was coming out of it. This is just, kind of potluck. My thing with him, though, I agree with you 100%. I want the guy back, and I want fans to understand I want him back. But, you got to look at it from, the optics of everything else, the money alone. Do you want to tie up $150 million? It's always about, what have you done for me lately? And you brought that up. I mean, if he continues to sour towards the remaining 13 games that we have and the Red Sox don't make the playoffs, that's going to be a big thing that you're going to see. But if the Red Sox make the playoffs and all of a sudden he becomes Mickey Mantle, in the amount of games that we do play in, depending on when they're eliminated, then, that's going to be one of those things like, oh, here he is, he's worth it. But I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned giving this guy 5 years, $150 million right now. Obviously back earlier in the year, it sounded like a great thing, but yeah, I don't know. Again, he's got the worst agent in the world in Boris. He's a guy that, gets his money for his players, and I'm sure a lot of it is posturing. But I agree with you. I don't think he should opt out either. Nick Face, your opinions on Bregman's situation?
I think he's come back down to earth, honestly. I think he over exceeded expectations, specifically that first half, got hurt, and then he kind of came back down a little bit and leveled himself out into what he's been over the past few seasons with the Astros. Remember, against left-handed pitching, he's been terrible the past couple seasons. And the Astros had a big problem there with it. And I think that was one of the reasons why the Astros didn't want to give him all that money, is because they saw a guy breaking down a little bit and they didn't want to dish out all the cash to him. So I can understand that whole play that the Astros had for him. That doesn't take away the fact that he's been kind of one of those de facto leaders, another coach that's there to mentor and get the best out of this team. But Nick said it. Where has he been? Are you hurt? How hurt are you? I wish we knew, because sometimes there isn't that much information that comes out from stuff. From everything I'm seeing, he doesn't look like he's super hurt. He's playing. If there's something wrong with, the swing or something movement-wise, I don't know. He's still not running, 100%, so that's something. But I don't think that should impact the bat that he's showing right now. I mean, it's been what, 3-4 weeks of this, kind of just not doing anything. Zero production. A lot of ground outs we've been seeing. I don't know if you guys have been noticing that. I haven't seen the ball in the air or in the gap very frequently from him. And even that home run today, that's not a classic Alex Bregman swing. It's not. It's when he goes to the gap, left center. That's his swing. That's his stroke. And it's not there. So it's a concern. $40 million a season for him over 5 years, 4 years. I don't do it. I don't. And some people will come at me and say, oh, well, you want John Henry to spend, and now you're saying no. Because I'm looking at results. That's what it is. If I have another player out there that is maybe a little bit younger and also can swing the bat and give me consistency, sign me up. That's my biggest thing here. I don't want to see any more reclamation projects. I don't want to see any other guys that have had a career year. I want to see a player that comes in and is consistent as consistent can be. Yes, they'll have slumps from now and then, but I can't take any more flyers on any more guys that are the dollar store bargain by the barrel kind of guys anymore. I can't do it anymore. So I'd love to see another player of the style of what a J.D. Martinez brought with the bat. That was the best bat we've had in this lineup since Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz. It was. And that production has not been replaced since you lost J.D. So what do you do from there? Well, you could have had Kyle Schwarber. You know where that went. Didn't go anywhere from there. So this is kind of what you have.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Alex Bregman, when he's on, he's pulling that ball down that left field line really well, especially those middle high fastballs. And to dunk something on the opposite side, again, it's probably a foul ball or caught in some stadiums. But the Red Sox have put themselves in a really tough position. The bottom line here is that if he goes, what do they do? You can't take another everyday bat out of that lineup. And again, as far as the DH position is concerned, if he's not, if he is injured or something to that nature, or still rehabbing and not feeling 100%, they need his defense in the field. That's the problem. So they have nobody else that they can rely on to play third. I mean, Mayer was there when he wasn't hurt, to try to supplement that. And you would have given Bregman some DH at bats, but you can't even do that anymore because we don't have a competent third baseman. You are in the wild card race. You are qualifying for a wild card spot, and you don't have a competent second baseman, a competent backup third baseman, and a competent, right field right now. It's absolutely bizarre. I'm going to move on a little bit to our segment on dugout dipshits.
And now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, the Dugout Dipshits.
All right, so I want to go over a couple guys here. Dugout Dipshits is proudly sponsored by Yankee Stadium Wi-Fi. It's the only thing slower than the Red Sox offense last night. Guaranteed to disconnect right as Aaron Judge strikes out, which is about as rare as reasonably priced beer in the Bronx. Our first Dugout Dipshit is Ruben Randall, and his handle is Mustard Sports with a Z. And when that lineup came out, Nick Face, I know you and I were talking about it, and I said, is this the lineup of a postseason contender? And Ruben writes, it's another fan who thinks he's smarter than one of the best managers in the game. Well, the bottom line here, Hotshot, is that's not just an Alex Cora problem. It's actually Breslow and management. They should have brought up someone like Christian Campbell. Even give Password another shot. Anybody. You can't just keep bringing out guys like Eaton, guys like, Sogard into the lineups every night and expect them to all of a sudden become Hall of Famers. But you need to bat as much good offensive talent as you can in that lineup. And we talked about it today with maybe having Duran. He should have been probably playing. Renee Santana. I blocked this guy. I unblocked this guy. He's something else. When I said about the postseason roster, he says, Willier, Roman, and Marcelo are hurt right now. Casas is out for the year. How am I a doctor and so dumb? Again, it has nothing to do with being dumb or smart. It's about management and not having contingency plans in place. But thank you for showing a million, maybe even more people how stupid you really are. Time for wild.
And now it's time for the Wild Card Watch.
So tonight's Wild Card Watch is brought to you by Red Sox Twitter Math Tutoring, the only place where being 6 games back somehow equals that you're still in it. 81-68 is the Red Sox record. They are in third place, 5.5 behind the Jays, 2.5. Currently in the second spot, half game behind Houston and 1.5 ahead of Texas. Their playoff odds are now at 84.5%. The Red Sox can't statistically win the division at this point. They're too far back with too many limited games left. So it's very clear now their only path is the wild card. Here's what needs to happen if the Red Sox don't qualify. So the Rangers are 79-70. They're a game and a half behind Boston. They got to finish at least 3 games better than the Red Sox over the final 13 to pass them, but only 2 games better to win the tiebreaker. And I brought this up on our podcast show either earlier this week or the end of last week when I made mention how every game matters and you can lose a playoff spot in April, but you can't win it. And, of course, everybody comes at me. It's 158 games to go. What are you worried about? And I said, every game matters, and this is a situation that really could present itself. So here's an example. So if Boston goes 6-7 over the remaining 13 and finishes 87-75, Texas just needs an 8-5 record. It's not unrealistic. Seattle is 80-68, half game behind Boston and 14 games remaining. If they win the AL West, obviously it doesn't affect Boston's wild card slot. But if they lose the division, they need to be about 1 game better than Boston to win it. They do have we are tied with them, so it does go to that interleague or interdivisional play, which gets a little hairy. So Texas has to jump over Boston. Whichever AL West team doesn't win the division, either Seattle or Houston, must also finish ahead of Boston. We do have the season series, I think, with Houston, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll start with you, Nick Diamond. What is your thoughts now after tonight's loss, where we stand in possibly making the wild card?
I'm pretty surprised the odds are at 84, 85%, whatever you said it was. But if you brought up the fact that we're tied with the Mariners and that it'll go to the interdivisional tiebreak, would be the second tiebreaker, would be interdivisional record. So if the Red Sox end up tied with the Mariners, in my opinion, that means they get crushed by the Blue Jays, and it pretty much means to me that they're going to lose that tiebreaker with the Mariners. So, and I think there is an even lower chance that the Red Sox make the playoffs. In my opinion right now, I think it'd be about a 50 to 60% chance, not an 85% chance.
Nick Face, your reaction.
I've said it 3 shows in a row. I don't think this team is going to get there. I just don't. I think we're on the verge of another 2011 collapse right now. They don't have the same kind of players that team even had. Heck, we don't even have the same players we had in 2021. I went over this the other night. You had your JDs. You had your Xander Bogarts. You had who am I forgetting? You had Devers. How do I forget him? He's the one that kind of got you into that spot. You don't have that. So to say this is going to happen and they're going to get there, I can't do that to fans. I can't do that to myself and psych myself out and say, "Yep, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. Don't worry. We're just going to get in." I can't do it. So I'm preparing myself for there not to be playoffs for this team. And it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, I mean, the reality sets in at the rest of this upcoming week. This is going to either make or break it for them. You've got tomorrow's game, which feels like it's a must-win for them. I mean, I just don't understand how it could not be. They really have no chance to blow that game and actually consider themselves to still hang in for this wild card. After that, of course, you have the Oakland A's for 3 at home, and then Tampa Bay. I mean, I think they've got to go 5-1 in those 2 series, plus winning tomorrow. I mean, if they go 6-1 in the next 7 games, they'll be absolutely fine. I just don't know if they can do that. I think maybe if they can sweep the Athletics, they should be good. But it's getting really tough right now. And you still have that 3 against Toronto. And for everything we talked about earlier about Crochet in that Detroit game, it's going to look more and more like that may not be a possibility and may not even be necessary. That said, the Texas Rangers have won 6 in a row. They just came off a 2-1 series before that to Houston. They have the Mets again tomorrow, and then they are at Houston for 3. They host Miami. They have Minnesota and Cleveland. So they have a soft schedule after that Houston series. Very soft. They have 9 layups. And if they are going to be as good as they are, I'm telling fans right now, that initial opening series against the Rangers when they went 1-3 may come back to bite you in the ass. Nick, you want to comment? Nick Diamond, you want to comment on that and give your final takes for the night?
You brought up the A's series. With the pitchers we have lined up, I don't see them sweeping. I think there's no shot. I think there's going to be a bullpen game or 2 sprinkled in there. A Kyle Harrison start probably and a Peyton Tolley start that's going to go 2 or 3 innings each. Or maybe they go together and go and combine for 1 start. So you're going to have to make up a lot of innings in that series, especially tonight when you pushed Whitlock and Aroldis Chapman for 20-plus pitches and a loss. It's kind of embarrassing to use those 2 guys and not win the game. So The pitching's running shallow here, and I don't see them winning 3 games in that A's series. So I think it's going to be even harder than I said it was going to be. So those are my final thoughts. I think the Red Sox are in dire need. I don't think it's impossible that they make the playoffs. I don't think they're not going to make the playoffs at the moment. But if they lose tomorrow, I think it's over, basically. I think they're going to lose the series against Oakland, and then it's over. The Blue Jays are going to play their guys. They're going to try to get home field advantage, and the Red Sox are going to have like 84, 85 wins and miss out. So they got to win tomorrow. It's over if they don't win tomorrow. Crochet has to show up, go 7, shut out, 10 Ks, whatever, dominate against the Yankees. I don't know if Whitlock and Chapman are available, but they need to be because you have to win. I guess that's my final takes.
Nick, your final take.
I'm not concerned about Crochet or the bullpen going into this. I'm concerned about who the hell's going to hit the friggin' baseball. Who's it going to be? I don't know. I can't tell you that. You never know. You never know who the lineup's going to be. You never know who's going to do anything. I thought the most telling thing today happened before the game even started. I don't know if we even discussed this, but it was a quote that Alex Cora gave to the media before the game. And he said, and I'm gonna say exactly what he said. I think we should stop talking October, to be honest with you. There's a lot of stuff going on, and we have to play better. Duh. I'm not saying we're in a bad spot, but I think we have to wait, to see if October is part of this.
Wave the white flag.
I thought that was very telling for a manager who's trying to guide his team into the playoffs. And coming out to tell the media that makes me wonder what's going on in that clubhouse actually. Because it seems to me doomsday has been going on there, and it all began when Rome and Anthony went down. And they saw no end in sight to get themselves to the finish line. They said, Roman's done. We're done. We're going to pack it in. We're all set. That's what happened. If you want my full investigative reporting, I guarantee you that's how the MO is in that clubhouse right now. Roman's done, so are we. And that is pitiful.
Well, at least we have Masataka Yoshida to pinch hit in late innings and ground out to first, so that's a good thing. And keep in mind that he took at bats away from Rafael Devers, so such a great trade. You just don't have the offense, and of course, Twitter's going to sit there and say, "Well, when do you expect? And these guys are hurt, and this one's hurt." Because you didn't go out at the trade deadline and address 2 major things. You needed a competent bat, and you needed, a force, and you needed a number 2 starter and a guy like Ryan, and you didn't get it. And it's going to come back to bite us. And I'm still going to keep harping on that Rangers series. So they better win tomorrow. I think Nick Diamond's right. If they lose tomorrow, it's over. I am also not very pleased that they used Chapman and Whitlock in this game. I think it was absolutely ridiculous to do so. But if Crochet goes 7 and those guys can come at 8 and 9, perhaps they need to win it, and they got to go into that Oakland series and sweep that series. And I don't think.
One more thing I want to say too before you wrap up.
Please.
I don't know if you guys have noticed kind of how my tone's kind of changed in the past couple days that when we've been doing this, and a lot of it has to do with how the team is going about it. I mean, Alex Cora's quote today, I'm done. I'm done with this. We have been through too much to continue to see that this being acceptable. I had a buddy who likes to watch, the live things, the live streams and everything they do. He came up to me and goes, "Why the hell do you have such an attitude about the Red Sox?" I go, "I have an attitude because I am so sick and tired of being complacent. I'm sick and tired of being a 500 team and doing nothing about it. I am sick of it. I'm sick how Alex Cora continues to get a free pass all the time because he won the 2018 World Series. Well, newsflash, I could have been the manager. Jim, you could have been the manager. Nick, so could have you to guide that team. That team is one of a kind.
Yeah.
Alex Cora is so goddamn overrated. And it drives me insane because all of his philosophies have become a colossal disaster organizationally with this team. And that's where change is needed.
Yep. That's why I commented on that dugout dipshit tonight, because, I mean, you're going to be praising Alex Cora. Look, a 5-year-old could have won that team in 2018. And what has he done since 2021? I mean, obviously
Not him.
they didn't think highly enough of that team to keep anybody around. Let's put it that way.
Devers and Kike. Devers and
So-
Kike 2021.
So, I mean, outside of that, what did he do in 22? What did he do in 23? You were a 500 team last year, and right now you're still right there. And you have Crochet and Giolito, who have double digits in wins. So where would they be without those two guys this year? God
We
forbid we
wouldn't have
should
a
know.
conversation right now about any sort of thing about playoffs. We wouldn't. We wouldn't
Yeah.
have that.
No, you wouldn't. No, because all their wins are wrapped up in that series, that 10-game winning streak right before the All-Star break. That's where it'll end up being. That's why you're in a position you're in. You go 500 in that, and you're out of the playoffs already. So that's about it. I don't know what to say, but I'm really getting a somber tone again, and I'm getting upset because, typical Red Sox, you think that they just break your hearts constantly, even with the 4 championships we have. This is just unacceptable, and I don't know what to say at this point. So we'll obviously see how it drags out, and we'll be with you guys throughout. If you haven't subscribed yet to our newsletter, go to RedSoxDigest.com. We have daily news articles on the games and wrap-ups, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.